right, everybody, welcome back to the Sideshow. My name is Mingo.
This is Tony.
So Sebastian has to, actually, he just texted me right now. He said the GM is going home early, so he's got to stay enclosed. Means he won't be home until about midnight.
Damn.
Yeah. Sucker.
At that age, you could do those things, though.
Yeah, very true.
I remember when I used to work, when I was 21, 22, I would work on a Saturday night. We closed the doors at 10. I wouldn't get out of there till 10:30, 10:45. Go home, bust a shower, get dressed, and go to the club.
Yep, like 11:45, stolen in.
Yep.
Just in time for fucking last call and to see where the faded ones are. I got time to be choosy today.
But you could, it was like, that was cool. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would have loved to have been there sooner, but hey.
It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
And I was the same way. I remember coming home, like, I used to work at Chillers downtown. Do you remember Chillers?
Yeah.
So I was a bar back there, and, you know, people would come, hey, where we going? I'm getting text, hey, we're partying, blah, blah, blah. Cool, I'm off at 2. I'll be there, 2:30, 3 o'clock. Cool, so I'd go home, bust a shower. Sometimes I'd go in the clothes that I was drenched in. Didn't give a shit. Everybody was already smelling the same way I was, so whatever.
How old were you when you worked there?
I had to have been 21. Because I was mixing the drinks and pouring them into the machines and shit.
And how long did you work there for? Only reason I asked is because we partied there.
I think probably about 6 months, maybe.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah. Yeah, bro, because I used to have to, like, I would have the big jugs of the liquid, right?
Right.
So in the back, you'd have the 55-gallon trash can, and you'd have these big-ass pound bags of Kool-Aid. So you'd pour the Kool-Aid mix in there, and then you'd pour in all the triple sec and all the 151 and all the Bacardi and tequila and all the bullshit it needed, right? And then you'd have to fill up the rest of it with hot water. So you're pouring in hot water, it's kicking up the Kool-Aid dust. So your face is getting covered in Kool-Aid and you're smelling hot water at the same time, all the vapors and shit. And the vapors of the alcohol, and you're just like, oh my God, dude. And you're mixing that shit. Now you got to carry these containers, and you have to walk through the crowd to get to the stairs to go to the top level for that bar up there.
Oh.
So you'd start off with like full jug. By the time you got up there, you had like half a jug on each arm. You know what I mean? You're like,
but the bar upstairs, I don't remember being that popular.
Oh yeah, it was half the night because most of the people, like you would have the people like the girls that were there to party and have a good time, and they're downstairs, and then you'd have the creepers upstairs hanging around the edge looking down.
Well, I would be upstairs when they had a band playing. No, when they had a band playing, so I have like a
bird's eye view.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, dude, I mean, it's just weird how I was probably there and you were probably in the back.
Yep. Always the one working, everybody else is partying. What do you want me to say?
No, I just worked during the day. Don't get me wrong.
I think I was still working at the bank at the time, dude. I was working at the bank and I was doing that job.
Really?
I think it was right. It was right before my car got painted, because I had to get the money together to do the interior. Because my whole plan is I'm gonna get the car painted, and from there it's gonna go to the upholstery place, and then it's gonna roll out.
Do you remember? Did we talk about this before? This girl that I met there, that you kind of knew.
Where?
I kind of knew. Well, I met her.
Where?
At Chillers.
Oh, okay.
And there was. Do you remember anybody that used to work off of? Is it Country Club in Bermuda Dunes when you get off on Washington? You make that first left when you make a right off the freeway and that first left. Is that Country Club?
No, that's Fred Waring.
No, it ain't Fred.
Oh, you're right. That's Country Club.
Okay,
Yeah.
Country Club, and you drive down, and there's like industrial older buildings.
Yeah.
Did you know anybody that worked in one of those buildings?
It sounds familiar. I may have.
Maybe somebody in the car club.
Christy?
I don't know. No, she didn't personally work there.
Oh, okay.
It's like her knew somebody, or was maybe her brother worked there, and he knew you.
Well, that's getting deep right there, boy.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, okay.
I don't know. Was she saying good things about me or bad things about me? Then I'll tell you if I know her or not. I'm just kidding.
It was more like I was trying to convince her how much of a great guy I was because, and plus I knew you, so we had something in common type deal.
I got you. Like, hey, I'm nothing like that cat. I'm so cool, baby. Like, yeah, that sounds familiar, though. What did she drive, do you know?
I believe it was a Honda something. She worked at a clothing store called on El Paseo, St. Mark's or St. John's or something like that.
That sounds familiar. Dark hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know who she is. And I think I know who you're talking about. We used to party all the time. She used to live around right there. A little further in, though. Not off a country club. I can't remember what it was, but she used to live in the in these homes in there where you have to go in. Oh yeah, I'm here to see so and so.
Oh, is that right?
And they let you in. Yeah.
I remember at the time my car was broke down. I had cracked the frame. Did I ever tell you cracked the frame in my Volkswagen?
No, really?
Yeah, man, that was such a mess, dude.
How'd you do that?
I think I slammed on the brakes real hard and, dude, the frame cracked.
Did it buckle in the front end?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. But I had reinforced all of mine because we knew that all that, and I put torsion bars and shit up front, so that it would keep it from collapsing.
Luckily, where I worked at the time, Alamo, one of the guys' dads was an auto shop teacher at COD.
Oh wow!
And so they took my car and they welded it and they taught, I guess, the kids in the class on how to do it. So my car was like an experiment. And they reinforced it with some bars. I got so lucky.
Did you turn around and sell it right away?
No.
Really? You get right again?
Oh, hell, till the wheels fell off, kid.
Holy shit.
Come on. I didn't have it like that.
I remember one year, it was spring break. And it was well after high school. It was a couple of years after high school. And I was in my little yellow car. And so it was a stick shift. So the braid inside the clutch cable, they have that little braided steel line. So it started to come apart in there, in the wire. And I didn't know. It just kept getting harder and harder to push on it. But fuck it, we were downtown. We was rolling. It was like we were like 10 or 15 deep, bro. And so finally, I'm pushing on this I'm still pushing on the clutch cable. I'm going. Well, the pedal assembly's like tin. It's really thin. It's not a real thick metal, right? Well, I had pushed on it so hard and so often because you only go 3 feet, right? Even if you're running around all the back, you're playing with your clutch a lot, right? So I was pushing it so much, I broke the clutch pedal. So my clutch pedal was just dangling there. And I was like, fuck that, dude. I'm not leaving my fucking car out here. What are we going to do? And the dude that was with us, he was like, hey, dude, it's a fucking Volkswagen. He said, just fucking drive up to the light, put it in neutral. As you're getting close, you're going to have to yank on the gear to do it. He said, but you can get it into neutral or let it stall out at the light. Put it in first, and when the light turns on, turn the key, and it's going to rev it, give it gas, and it'll take off. And then you just shift like you normally would because you don't need a clutch with a Volkswagen.
Really?
Mm-hmm. They were made to do that. So I was able to shift gears without a clutch. And I took it all the way to fucking Coachella like that.
Okay, hold on a second. Because something like that happened in my car, too.
Okay.
And I remember it, like, jerking back and forth real bad.
Right.
Like, you're going to get whiplash trying to switch gears and stuff out of it. Is that what happened to yours?
Not really. Because I slapped gears. I was running them hard. Right into the next one. And It was gone. There was a couple of times where it did grind. Coming to a stop was a little hard. You had to do that from far away just in case it did kind of lurch forward.
Right.
But, you know what I mean? I wasn't going to leave it out on the streets, dude. That car would have been empty come morning time. Like, nope, I'm good, dude. I'm going to fucking figure out how to get it home. So then I took it to my uncle's the next day. We changed the wire, and he welded my pedal plate. He welded it back together. He took a tin can and cut a piece of tin can and wrapped it around where it was busted. And then he clamped it down and just welded that shit back. It should be good. So if you want to change it, you can, but that should hold it.
The way mine busted was our buddy Jerry. He was driving us home in my car because we were all drunk.
Right.
And we were on Ramon or a street where you go kind of fast. And I told him, I said, I got 5 years, right? Because I think he was in 4th. So he needed to take it to 5th.
Right.
So I was like, you just need to go up and then to the right and then straight up again. And he did it, and I think he popped my clutch. Because something went snap. And I was just like, oh.
You knew at that point it was over. Oh, fuck. Well, what's funny is my cousin Chendo, he used to have a Volkswagen too. And I remember Jeff Dixon always had one too. You'd always have to carry an extra throttle cable and clutch cable with you because they would go out all the time. So you'd always have to have one, or else your car would be stuck wherever the fuck you are.
Damn.
Because it would just, on those old cars, once it goes through the fan shroud, it comes out and it's just got this little metal, like straw almost, that goes through the fan shroud, and then that little wire is rubbing on that. So after a while, it gives out, especially if you're, you know what I mean, messing around trying to be all loud, it wears out and it pops, and now you got no gas. That, or you check it that before you go out at night and change it just in case, you know what I mean? Preventative maintenance.
Yeah, everything you're saying right here is just foreign to me.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
Shit, me and Chendo, we used to pull his engine out every weekend because he had it set up for racing. He only had a 1641 in it, but he would have to check the lifters, make sure that they were all the rockers, make sure they were all hitting right and they were gapped right, slap it back in, it was ready for race night. Good to go.
Man, how long would that take you?
Depends, because back then we were kind of annoying about shit, so once we had it out, we'd go ahead and clean it and polish it and do all that shit. So something that could have taken us an hour, we'd spend 3 hours on it, cleaning it and getting it ready and shit.
You're crazy.
Yeah. I used to polish all my own aluminum and shit that was on the Volkswagen. Like, you'd pop it open and like the intake, it was all polished. On the weekends when I knew I didn't have a show coming up for however long, I'd sit there and wet sand the shit out of it just to get it to where the metal was smooth instead of like that gritty look. Get it smooth, and then I'd polish it out with the different rouges.
I remember visiting Rick Henson up in San Francisco when he moved out there.
Okay.
And we were going to go out one Saturday night, and we were going, I think it was San Jose. It was like a cruise night.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, he was like, oh, we're going to, he had this buddy, I don't remember his name, that was with us. And it was like their routine. They were cleaning his car. Dude, they were out there for like hours polishing everything. And I'm thinking to myself, man, the car looks fine. But dude, hours.
Oh, yeah, dude.
And hours. And I get it, kind of.
Well, you know why they did that, right? Because everybody else that went down there was sitting there cleaning and washing and polishing their cars for hours.
And there was a gang of cars.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, little import shit out there is really
crazy.
And he had, okay, so you had the white cabriolet, right? His was like a maroon color.
He painted it was originally a champagne, and he painted it like a maroon purple.
Yeah, okay, like a plum color, right?
Yeah,
almost, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I remember I had mine, and it was Philip Stasinski, right? And there was somebody that got a blue one. They bought it somewhere, already done, and it was a blue one, I think. And he had that one. And then there was one other person that had
George had a emerald green one.
Did he really?
Yeah. Like a real deep forest green.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was a few of them running around that people were trying to high sign with. A lot of fun, dude. I miss doing all that shit.
I don't miss that. I miss the car, though.
Yeah.
That was a fun car.
Well, and we used to, like, if we were going to a car show the night before, we'd put it all up on jack stands, pull off all the wires. I'd repaint and clean the wheel wells, do everything ready to go. That way when I got there, pull shit off and everything looked all nice and clean and neat under there. We'd spend hours and hours cleaning, bro. Out there with fucking the Q-tips and shit into the air vents and all that shit. And after a while, guys would get pissed off because, well, why is he winning? He's always here. His car's always the same, or he hasn't done anything else, blah, blah, blah. Well, the thing is that you start to look at what the judges look at and where they're looking to see what's clean and what's not and what they notice and what they don't. And the things that stick out. So you make changes to that, they'll oversee everything else.
I always see, well, I shouldn't say always, but every once in a while, I don't know if it's an infomercial or a commercial on YouTube, but it's like a glob that they put like on a dash or on your gear shifter, and they move the glob around, and it's supposed to pick up all the dirt.
Yeah.
Is that legit?
Yeah. There's they use it for, there's some for electronics. I think I have some in the...
Look like Play-Doh almost, like a real loose Play-Doh.
Yeah, well, it looks more like that booger shit you used to play with.
Yeah.
I think I have some.
Is that something you use on your cars?
Not back then, no.
But it's something you use now?
Shit, I don't clean my car now. Hey, dog, you available this weekend? Yeah, straight.
Okay, but they don't get all the nooks and crannies.
Fuck yeah, the kid that does my car, he's fucking good, dude. He's really, really good.
Really?
Yeah.
He comes to your house and does it?
He did this time. He normally comes to the store, but he wasn't able to make it on Friday. He was like, hey, dude, can I be at your house? I'll be there like at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'll get it taken care of for you. I was like, fuck, bro, really? He said, yeah, man, don't worry about it. He says, I ran out of time. One of the cars that I was cleaning was just too dirty, and I couldn't get it clean. So it put me behind. He says, but I'll be there first thing tomorrow if that's cool. I was like, well, yeah, dude, if you're all right with coming that early in the morning, I'm cool. So he did, man. He came first thing in the morning, and he cleaned the shit out of it, dude. He does a really, really good job. His name is Joe, and he's Joe's Mobile Car Wash. You can get him on Instagram, Joe's Mobile Car Wash. If you use him, let him know that the Sideshow sent you, Mingo and Tony. He's actually a friend of Milo's, and this kid does a phenomenal job, bro.
How often do you get it washed?
Well, it's funny.
Or cleaned?
He was the last one that did it for me. I hadn't done it in a while because I was, trying to manage some shit and trying to figure out some funding for shit. And I don't think I washed it it's been about 3 months, and it was filthy. And I was like, all right, dude, I can't fucking, that needs to be washed. So I called him, and I was like, hey, dude, the outside is really, really fucking dirty. He's like, no problem, I'll get it. So he came, and it looks like fucking brand new again. I mean, the kid is just really, really, and he knows his shit.
You know what? I have to agree with you. Your car been looking like shit. It looked like it had some bird shit on it and everything, kid.
Yeah, and unless it's a car like I didn't give a shit about, like when I had my truck, that was the only car, Tony, well, besides while I was married, the only car that I didn't put rims on. I didn't fucking try to lower it. It was very little stereo shit in it. Like, I wasn't trying to go above and beyond, right? But that was also when I was making a shit ton of money and I was saving, so when I come back, I could, do what I needed to do. But this car, I'm surprised I let it go that long looking like that. Like, it did. It really looked like shit. But fucking looks great now. You can't even tell that it was deteriorating like that.
Because we've been mulling over finding somebody to come and wash the cars versus going somewhere. We tried once because my sister-in-law who lives around here. Okay. She uses somebody, gave us a number. Dude never called us back.
Really?
Yeah, stuff like that.
This kid will call you back. He's good, dude. He's really, really good. And he does a lot of really high-end vehicles. So I don't know if he'll do yours, but I'm just kidding. Just fucking with you, Tony. Just fucking with you. But he does a lot of really... and he knows his shit. I talked to him about, doing a ceramic coat on it, and he was like, dude, it comes with one from the factory. You won't need one for at least 3 years. Don't let anybody, try to take your money. Just ride with this one for a couple of years, and then we'll redo one in a couple of years if you still have it. All right, cool.
Oh, wow.
So, he's honest. He's a good kid.
That's cool.
And he does a good job. Can't be mad at that. Joe's Mobile Car Wash. Go check him out. Yeah, dude, I can't. I don't think I've ever let a car go that long without a wash. It was pretty bad. Ashamed of myself.
And it hasn't been windy. Sounds like, man, all that dirt that's caked up on that.
No, it had been, because that's when it was gonna rain. It wasn't gonna rain. Be careful, it's gonna flood in your area. Every half an hour they were sending out new shit. And then for half an hour of the day, it looked like it was gonna rain, and then it'd all go away. And then at night, it'd dribble a couple of drops that make the car look even worse. You know what I mean? So, but speaking of fucking cars, bro, our governor's a fucking idiot. They've done this thing where they want to ban gas cars by 2035.
I heard about that, yes.
So in 13 years, they want to ban gas-powered vehicles in California.
No. In 13 years, they want to ban the sale
of brand new.
Yes.
Same shit.
No, you can still drive your gas-powered car if you own one.
But think about it, though, dude. So they don't want you to have a gas-powered vehicle, right? They want you to use an electric one.
Yes.
First of all, our power grid, we already have rolling blackouts. How are we going to maintain? First of all, we use a lot of, what is it called? Hydropower or whatever. We're in a drought. How are we going to have water to maintain those and keep those going? Right? Not to mention, you need all the lithium and all the shit that they've decided they found where they're going to do it. When you're on your way out to Vegas, they have all those lithium farms now that are on the way to, they're in Amboy, right? On your way to Vegas.
Okay.
But all of those are done by tractor, which is diesel, which is fossil fuel, which emits all the fumes and nastiness into the air. What are you really doing? And then let's say, so then somebody posted the other day, they posted their car battery on their, I think it was like a Chevy Volt or whatever it was, went out, $37,000 or $27,000 for a fucking battery.
Get out.
For a fucking battery. Now, when like, let's say, I don't know, you probably still use a Walkman. Out of your Walkman, what do you do with those batteries?
Discman.
What do you do with your Discman batteries? You just throw them in the trash?
Yeah.
Is that the right way to dispose of them, or is there? I thought there was a certain way to dispose of them.
Is it for regular batteries? I know, like car batteries, they don't want you just to dispose of them. But regular batteries, I mean.
So where are you going to take all those batteries? If you need to change the batteries in your car, first of all. Second of all, and those batteries are fucking heavy. Not like something you're going to be able to do at home. You're going to have to take it to the dealer to do, unless you have, like a winch set up at your house.
They'll figure all that out by then.
Well, you have a lot of fucking faith in our government, bro. You have a lot of fucking faith in our government.
So you're telling me, because obviously if you bought a battery by itself, okay, it's going to be a large amount of money.
Correct.
But when it's included in the vehicle, let's say it's 2/3 of the cost. Would you say? I don't know. Because I can't see a $60,000 electric car, half of that is the battery alone. Is what I'm saying.
Maybe that was the cost of the battery and the installation and removal and all that of the other one. Or maybe it was just fake. Who knows? It was on the internet. It had to be real. But the question is where are all those? Because sooner or later the battery's going to wear out, right? And you have to replace the battery. Where is all those batteries and the material in those batteries going to go? They're going to go in barrels, and they're going to get fucking lids thrown on them.
They can't be recycled?
I don't know. I don't work in the fucking battery business, but I'm assuming not. Because it's not the same as the old batteries in the day where you pull off the little thing and you add water and put it on the charger and it reactivates the acid in them. There's lithium. There's something totally
But what happens to the batteries now? To traditional car batteries now?
Those, I think because they get, once they're no good, they have a dry cell in them, which means that one of the cells, all the liquid is gone out of it, so it won't charge the full battery anymore, right? So I'm assuming, I don't know, that they would have to have some way to take the acid out of that and reuse that. Is the plastic on a battery recyclable?
I would think.
Again, you have a lot of faith in our fucking government, bro. A lot of faith. Here, let's look it up. Are carb batteries recyclable? Happy answers. The batteries that power electric cars and hybrids can be recycled. For decades, the few electric vehicles that were on the road were powered by lead acid batteries. Yeah, but now if we're going to move to lithium, here we go. Are not really. So here, look, May 2021. This says that these batteries are not made to be recycled.
Wow.
So, but what is that? So, what is that going to mean? Where are they going to store all these batteries that don't work anymore?
But how long do they last traditionally?
Well, you got to figure. Most cars come with a 5-year.
These are gas-powered cars.
Correct. So, but that's all I have to go by, right? Because I don't know anything about these cars. So let's say most cars go 5 years on a battery, right? Is what's listed. Here in the desert, it's about 2 years, right? 2.5 years because of the fucking heat.
Right.
So are the lithium batteries going to be the same for us? Because it's not the same all across the land and all across the, you know what I mean? The desert life is fucking totally different.
But
although they say the lifespan of them is 10 to 20 years.
See what
All
I'm saying?
batteries contain metals and or toxic or corrosive materials. They are also potentially valuable source of recyclable metal. When the lithium-ion batteries that power electric cars reach the end of their life, they will need to be managed in a way that is safe for the public and the environment. Yeah, we're fucked.
I'm sure they're going to figure something out by then. And it's not just California.
Come on, it's going to be the fucking Gambino family. Hey, don't worry about the batteries. We got it, right? It's going to be fucking, then it's going to be another drought. And now they're going to find batteries of barrels at the bottom of Lake Mead instead of bodies and shit. Fucking everybody catching 3-eyed fish and 4-eyed frogs and shit. You know what I mean?
But let me ask you this. Gas. Oil.
Yeah.
Do you think we have an endless supply of that?
I don't think there's an endless supply of anything.
So eventually, we got to figure something else out.
So can I share my thought with you about that? I think that's why, like, Texas, Texas has a lot of sinkholes. And their sinkholes are some are anywhere, they're from 3 feet up to about 10 feet deep, they say. And so a lot of places they'll have a lot of tremors and shit like that. Well, yeah, because you're taking all that liquid. So to me, I look at the earth kind of like you would a car or our body, right? If we dehydrate, our body's not oiled at that point. So it begins to break down. It starts to rub on bone, all that kind of shit. Your car, if you don't have oil in there, it rubs metal to metal, shit starts to break down, right?
Right.
So if you're taking oil out of the earth, because the earth is moving, right? And the tectonic plates are shifting and whatnot. But if there's no liquid to support that weight, because oil's pretty heavy, so that they might not slip and drop as fast to create such a massive shake if it still had all that liquid in there. Make sense?
Yeah.
So I think that to me, it would make sense to me that this is why we have sinkholes, because you're taking elements out of the earth, and you're not replacing it with anything, so it's collapsing on itself. The same with when, like here in California, if they drilled here in California and they're taking the natural elements out of it, and those plates drop, they're dropping hard, and it's creating a bigger movement in the earth than it should be, because there's no elements in the earth to catch it. Does that make sense? And I could be fucking way off. I'm just, general terms, and just.
I mean, it makes sense, except, I just would have to
believe the government.
Believe you saying Texas has a lot of sinkholes. I ain't never heard that.
Do you ever look at anything? I'm not trying to be a dick, but do you ever look? Because the other day you said you didn't know anything about the place in fucking Arkansas or Oklahoma or wherever the fuck it is that has the reserve underground. That's got all of our fucking.
It's funny how I
shit.
didn't know that much about it, or anything for that matter.
Right.
And you, in my opinion, knew a little too much about it. So,
because Tony, I got to tell you, and I'll be totally honest, that is such a fucking rabbit hole, and it so grabs you by the nostril hair and at the nuts at the same time, because you're like, no fucking way. Get the fuck, come here, come check this out.
And all this, you get it from the internet.
Yes, but it's not like...
No, there's no but.
Yeah, it's not like I'm not getting it like on fucking E-Bombs World or like fucking... It's so legitimate shit.
Of course, because it's on the internet.
Yeah. It's legitimate sources. It's not fucking...
I know.
It's not fake news. Bro, it's real shit.
Yeah, of course.
Uh-huh.
You know why?
Why? Because it's on the motherfucking internet. But we can go, if you like, we can go to
and here's the thing.
I can show you on books.
And this is what I was thinking that day when we were discussing it, and how you guys were trying to make fun of me because I didn't know about it.
Right.
And I'm thinking to myself, I was thinking this, I swear to God, I'm thinking, okay, well, you guys know a little bit too much about this. Number one, you ain't never going to see it. Number two, you ain't never going there. But yet, you acting like...
But that's why we were talking about it, though. Is like, okay, that's why she said she was doing the things that she was preserving, and why she started. Because if something happens and there's a catastrophe, we're never going to make it to that fucking underground metropolis to get fucking cornflakes or cheese or whatever else they have fucking down there, right? So we have to. That's her way of being knowledgeable and preparing for what could happen. But, ignorance is bliss, dude. Like, you live happy and you don't worry about those things and whatever. And it may never come to fruition, and I hope that it doesn't, but... And
I got $100 that says it won't.
I don't know, dude. The way this fucking government is going right now. Fucking then Biden today went out and said, doing a speech that the government's coming after you or coming after you. Yeah, fucker, you're the spearhead. What are you talking about? It's fucking ridiculous. He's a puppet. It's sad. Anyways, enough of that. I'm gonna get off my soapbox before this turns into something it shouldn't. So I just don't. And here's the other thing. Like, we're so tied into like government bullshit, and our phones listen to us. Alexa listens to us. Our TVs listen to us. Our fucking cars listen to us. Our watches listen to us.
Right.
The phone has navigation. The car has navigation. Your fucking watch has navigation. You can't... They're gonna fucking find you. You know what I mean? Like, other than putting on a fucking tinfoil hat and running naked into the fucking forest, they're gonna fucking find you. And chances are... they're going to find you naked with a tinfoil hat on in the fucking forest. Right? But it just... the less that we have to be tied into that network, the more comfortable I would be. Like, I would like I don't want a car that's totally on a battery that's got all this...
Well, hold on a second. I mean...
I mean, it's not like I'm doing anything that they need to watch before.
I understand
anyways.
that, but what I'm saying is, what I was going to say was, you do social media, whether you post or read other people's posts, so they're tracking you on that. Shopping online, I mean, you are the king.
Bro, the other day, I was sitting here and I was talking with my sister. And I'll let you get back to what you were saying in a minute, but this is how scary it is. I talked to her on a Thursday night. And we were talking about, hey, well, we should all plan for the family to go, here, or whatever here. So, well, you got to give me time because I gotta save, blah, blah. Well, where would you want to go? Like, where's the one? I said, I've always wanted to go to fucking Bora Bora. I don't know why. I don't know what the fuck I would do there. Yeah, I would much rather go with like a female. You know what I mean? That way, because that's a kind of place where you would go when you get out. You jump in the lake, you go back in, have some fruit, have some sex, sleep, go back out, jump back in the ocean, come back out, have some more fruit, have some more sex, take another nap, right? Like that's what that vacation is, right? Like that should be that starry-eyed love affair that you take somebody that you want to have that everlasting memory of. Fuck, dude. We went to Bora Bora and it was so fucking dope, right?
Right.
Or like that other place in Greece. Have you seen it, bro? They have these rooms. Anyways, I'm getting off subject. So I talked to my sister about Bora Bora on a Thursday night. I went to bed. The next morning, I got up and I'm checking my emails, right? There was one from a travel company that said the cheapest Bora Bora vacation that you could never plan for, blah. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Dude, it was like less than 8 hours. And they're already planning and giving me a fucking itinerary. I'm like, you can't say shit.
Yep.
Holy crap.
And so what I was trying to get at is, you're saying, I think what you're trying to get to is, now if I were to get an electric car, they're going to know my moves and they're going to know where I go.
Even more, right?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I don't understand why you have a problem with that, because of all this other stuff you do that tells them more of your lifestyle, more of your life.
Well, because I think there's a certain amount of that you can't avoid. Does that make sense? Because in order to do anything nowadays and to be involved and to know what's going on in the world and to communicate with friends and do all, you have to be on social media. You don't, because you have a small group of friends that you guys have kept it that way for, a really long time, and that works for you. Right? Plus, you're scared of who might come out of the woodwork and say, "Hi, Tony." I get it. I was the same way. I never wanted one. But I think that there's a certain amount of it, like especially because we have the podcast, like we have to have a certain amount of social media. I have noticed that I'm more on my phone, whether I'm fucking playing dominoes or I'm fucking playing Tetris or whatever it is. I'm checking my email, even though I only get the same 4 emails a day, checking to see if somebody new sent me an email that I wasn't aware of. It's never there. And I know it's not. But because I have my phone, oh, well, fuck, I should go ahead and know that I'm here. Let me check my email. Oh, yeah, nope, still Macy's. You know what I mean? Like, it's just that you become so accustomed to everything's right there.
And again, that's kind of what I'm saying. You've accepted the fact that Big Boy's watching you. Big Brother, I should say. So how is adding a car going to take it over the top?
Well, and I'll tell you what it is. Let's say shit happens, right?
Define shit.
Like fucking Russia lands over there and the Chinese land on
you
this
ain't
board.
going in, you're not going into that village underground. You're not doing it.
We'll never make it there, but I'm probably not going to stay in my house much longer than I have to. Like, I'll hunker down there until shit gets crazy, and then we got to get out. But if I have a car that's tied to the grid, they're going to be able to know where I'm at. They're not going to be like, oh, let's go after them right now. We got to get them before they leave.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Going.
Okay, so let me ask you this: if shit were to go down and you don't have the electric car that they can follow you on, are you dumping your phone before you leave?
I'd have to.
You dumping your watch before you leave?
I'd have to.
You dumping your credit cards, all your cards and everything?
It's not none of that shit's gonna work. They put that shit in the safe until everything's good to come home. One thing I'm taking with me is all my armory and a couple of change of clothes and food and water.
And where you going?
Man, I can't tell you that shit, bro.
Remember that movie Red Dawn?
Yeah.
You really think shit like that can happen?
Fuck yeah,
man.
I think it's closer to happening than you think. I honestly believe here's my thought of what's going to happen. I think there's going to be a civil war first, and once that starts, then the other big entities around the world are going to say, well, now's the time for us to attack because there's nobody's watching the tower per se. So then they land on both sides and they just mow their way in.
Okay, and you know what? In regards to that, what I think, I think it is quite possible that a civil war might come, but it'll be shut down so quick because of two things.
Okay.
They're not going to let another January 6th happen across this country, and our law enforcement is not like it was during the first Civil War. People will get shut down so quick, it'll knock your socks off.
I think you're wrong. I think that the people that are involved, I think the cops are just as angry as the rest of the communities and would be a part of the civil unrest to some degree.
So you think they would break their vow?
But who broke their vow first? Did the government break their vow first to them?
You got to give me an example.
Well, like defunding the police and not standing behind them and
were they defunded?
Yeah. Some of them are, weren't they? Some of them are.
I don't know.
And I would think the same thing with military and ex-military. Like they're not happy with the government. They do it because they're there and they have to because it's what they signed up for, but it not necessarily mean that they believe in what they're doing.
I don't know.
And I think you're right. If there might be the first wave where it's, the left and they're going to be out there and they're going to get shut down really quick.
Real quick.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Yeah. But after that, then it's on and popping.
But I think that first wave are the people who are willing to do it. Any wave after that would have been people who say, well, if the first wave makes it, then we'll continue it. But once they see that first wave get shut down, we're like, no, I'm going to go back inside.
Well, no, I think they're going to send those guys in as a first wave to kind of put, whatever military they're up against or police up against to put them at ease and use those people as a shield. And then the other ones will come in behind them with a much smarter plan and have something. But we need to stop talking about this because I'm talking like I know what the fuck's going to happen and I don't know shit. It's crazy though, right? Like, whoever thought that in our lifetime we would be able to have this conversation and it'd be fairly plausible?
Yeah, that is true.
You know what I mean? Like, people are so like, and I think a lot of what happened though is that, people got to be real tough guys behind the computer and on their computer screens, saying whatever the fuck they wanted, and they're getting out into the real world and shit's happening and they're going crazy and losing their shit like they were on their computer screen and acting out. And, there's still people that they're acting out against that they shouldn't be, and they're learning real quick that it was a mistake in doing that. But I think for the most part, all the shit that we see on TV and all these people acting crazy, like the other day they were talking about somebody ran into like a Sears or a J.C. Penney's and tried to run out. Like these guys were running out with like fucking arms filled with clothes. And it wasn't even like it was daytime, bro.
Right.
Like they weren't even like.
Oh yeah, it's going around like crazy.
Just fucking running. Well, that's like in Oakland, right? Like Oakland and San Francisco, they won't come unless it's a certain amount. The cops won't come unless it's a certain amount or a certain kind of crime. If not, they don't come out.
Right.
And they said, okay, well, they can steal up to $5,000 worth of shit, and we're not going to do anything to them anyway. So you got to kind of stand back and watch them steal your shit. So apparently there's a lot of companies that are closing. There's one, bro, that I know the building. It's a CVS, and it's right across from the fucking courthouse. And that you could see where they are. It's there on the corner of Broadway, and people just walking out with bags and arms filled with shit, and nobody's stopping them. Nobody's doing anything because it's not worth it.
I heard that the high-end stores, the Louis Vuittons, the Gucci's, they're actually hiring actual police officers.
Off-duty cops, right?
Off-duty, yeah, but they can make an arrest.
Oh, okay. So
if somebody tries to steal something, they can actually arrest them right there on the spot.
Okay, so let's say they do. They have one off-duty cop in their store. 3 guys go in. How much is the cop supposed to do? Because he's not getting his cop wages. He's not there as a cop. He's getting paid through whatever company it is, right?
Right.
So it's not like he'd get his duty pay if he got hurt. And if he got hurt off the clock.
But do you think it's a deterrent if it's an actual police officer?
Well, I don't think there is a deterrent at this point.
In full uniform?
Yeah. I don't think that. Just slap on the wrist. And especially if it was like your first time and you've never been. Just a slap on the hand. Hey, don't do it again. Get up. Sight release. They give you a ticket and go home. How crazy is that?
Did you see the story about a store owner, female? I forgot. I don't know if it was a clothing store, accessory store. So somebody came in, stole a bunch of stuff in her bag. The owner got pissed off. Followed her on a city bus and sat right next to her and started live streaming, saying, "This bitch just stole from my store." I mean, she's holding her phone up, saying, "This bitch just stole from my store. Let's look in her purse." Grabbed her purse. "This is mine. This is mine. You stole it from my store." And the thief is like, "Take me off your camera. Please stop recording me." She's like, "No, I'm letting everybody know you're a thief. You stole from my store."
Good for her.
Yeah. Got off the bus with her, called the cops. Cops actually came and arrested her.
Really?
Yeah.
Where was this at?
I don't know.
Had to have been somewhere probably mid country.
So it probably.
You know what I mean? Fuck. That's crazy. I don't know, dude. The world is it's upside down right now.
I saw another story about a club in... Damn, I hope I wrote it down. In Australia. Nightclub.
Okay.
They are banning the bouncers and the security are on the lookout for anyone staring at anyone else.
I'd get bounced so fast.
Without that person's permission. So if a chick sees you staring at her and you make her feel uncomfortable,
you gotta go.
You gotta go. And one of the things they actually said was because they want to stop the people who go there for only one reason, and that's to pick up. They want people to go there to have a good time, to drink, to dance. Not specifically to go hook up, to go and find somebody to hook up with. Could you imagine at 20 some odd years old going to a club?
I'd be serving life by now.
It makes absolutely no sense.
None whatsoever. I mean, like, you know, you could, like, let's say you're having a fucking rough day, right? Shit's going through your head. You're not even fucking thinking about, you're just veering off. You're not even staring at that person. You're staring beyond them. But she thinks because you're sitting there and you're lost in thought that you're staring at her.
Okay, hold on. Time out. It could go either way. It could be a girl staring at a dude.
Even more so.
Okay, I'm just saying.
But let's be honest. Let's be honest. I mean, let's be fucking, what is it, toxic masculinity. How often is a chick going to be staring at a dude like that to make him uncomfortable? Because as soon as a dude catches a chick, he's going to look at her, he's going to look around behind him to see if she's staring somewhere else. And he's going to look back, she's still good, and he's going to walk over there. And they're going to end up naked in the bathroom. You know what I mean? Because that's how it works, right?
Yeah.
But how, like, that's so backwards though, dude. No, I'm not saying that.
See, and that's another way of trying to.
That's toxic femininity.
Well,
feminism.
That's another way of making sure it's okay to approach somebody. If you're staring at them and you're trying to get their attention so they can stare at you back, and you know you get that kind of look at each other, then you know I'm gonna go over and approach this person.
We used to call that shit eye contact. And that was before everybody had phones and shit. Did you ever go to one of those nightclubs that had the phones?
No.
No?
No.
There used to be nightclubs where you would walk in and each table had a phone with this little spike sticking up, and it had the number of the phone. So like if you were at table 22 and there was a hot chick there and you wanted to talk to her, or if she was a big girl at table 22 and you were trying to look at table 19 behind her, you could call her, hey, could you please move to the left?
No.
You're blocking the chick at table 19, and I'd really like to look at her. So if you could move over just right there, that's perfect. Thank you very much. That you could do that. You could just pick up the phone and talk to this person, and that took away the having to walk across the dance floor or whatever to talk to that chick and see if she was into it or not. You never went to one of those places?
No. I take it you did?
No, I never did. I saw it though. I heard about them.
You saw it in person?
No.
Oh.
It was on TV. I don't remember what TV show I saw it on, but it was on a show that they had a nightclub like that. That'd be dope. We should start one, Tony. We'll call it Digits. Right? That'd be kind of cool, no?
I don't know. I don't know.
And then, so like you call that table, a little red light on their table blink. That way they know it's somebody's calling them.
And then they're looking around to see who's actually on the phone, so they know whether to pick up or not.
Hey, hey, I'm at table 18. Right behind you. Just like I get it. You want to go out, and some people aren't going out for the hookup, I guess.
Yeah, they always say that. I'm just with my friends. I'm just trying to have a good time.
Right.
I'm here with my friends. I'm not trying to leave them. I'm not trying to hook up.
Yeah, Sally broke up with her boyfriend, and she just wanted me to come out with her, but I really didn't want to. Right. Well, I'm glad you did, because now I get to meet you and whatever. So what happened to the days of being able to look at somebody, wait for them to look back, and then you kind of know, all right, cool. Now we got that little glance out the way.
Right,
I can make my way over, right? Now half the time you can't get anybody to pick their head up from their phone. Like when you go into, like, the worst is like if I was a waiter and I came to you, hey, how are you doing? It was Oh yeah, I was just gonna have and they're sitting there looking on their phone playing that. Fuck, that's annoying, dude.
I remember Polaroid. I think it was Polaroid, but it was at least a camera like Polaroid, where it was making a comeback.
Right.
And I think maybe the pictures came out like in strips.
Yes.
There were multiple pictures on it. Okay.
Well, I think they had that, and then they had the Polaroids that were just small. They look like passport pictures.
Okay, well, yeah. But this commercial was for the strip.
Okay.
Like you did when you went into the booth.
Right.
Okay. I remember seeing this commercial. And a dude picked up this chick, and he was on a moped.
Okay.
So she slapped on the helmet, and she rolled with him for a little bit. And she was taking pictures of them as they were riding. And she gave him the strip. And on it was her email address. Like, and I thought it was so crazy that was the way, instead of somebody giving you their number,
right.
So they don't actually want to talk to you. Here's my email address because I could choose to not respond to it or not.
Right.
And I just thought it was so crazy that they would think of something like that.
Because it's less intrusive, right? So, like today, because like, and again, Sebastian, but what era was that? How can you give me a, whatever? Yeah, you know what? It was late 80s, early 90s. You would go and you'd talk to somebody and you'd get a fucking phone number.
Right.
Right? Now it's, hey, so you on IG?
Exactly.
What's your at?
Well, that's what I was trying to say was, it's so funny how that commercial was actually, in a sense, the future.
Yeah.
It went from email addresses to your Instagram profile, I guess is what they call it.
Isn't that crazy?
And you could follow me. I mean, I don't get it myself, but
well, and now you have your own web page where you could go on and you could set up. Or do you have a vlog where you take videos of yourself talking about your daily shit and all this stuff, or you have a blog where you go on and you write down your daily shit and what's going on in your life and how you feel at the moment and what you're doing to change and blah 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 blah. Right? And then now you have Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram. What else? There's a couple I'm missing.
Well, I off the subject real fast. I think Facebook is no longer. I think Facebook is for us old fogies now.
Oh yeah, the youngsters aren't on that shit.
My daughter's birthday was Thursday.
Yeah,
and she was a little disappointed that she hadn't heard from my mother to wish her happy birthday.
Okay.
In the afternoon, she contacted. She was talking to my wife, and my wife was like, "Well, everybody call you for your birthday, blah blah blah." My daughter said, "Yeah, everyone except for Nana. I haven't heard from her." So I had to call my mom, say, "Hey, what's going on? Your granddaughter ain't heard from you." She's like, "I sent her a message this morning. I texted her this morning." I was like, "Are you sure?" She said, "Yeah," and she actually read me the text, and then she sent me a screenshot of it. Well, it wasn't a screenshot. It was a picture of her tablet from Facebook Messenger.
Jesus Christ.
And I was like, "Ma, she didn't respond. That means she didn't get it."
Right.
She's like, "Well, she's got a profile. She's got this." I'm like, "Ma, kids don't use that no more. You gotta call her. You gotta send her a text."
You act like you in the know. You're like, "Ma." That was like so 1952, Ma. Come on.
I feel so bad for her, but I was like, "Ma, no."
Jeez. Poor lady. Your daughter's fucking hating on her, and she just not knowing what she's doing, man. Yeah, it's so weird, but it's indicative of where we are and why we are the way we are. Because again, you have all those platforms, right? And then you have LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is like a business Facebook page or Instagram page, right? All business people, you could put about yourself, you could put business stuff that you have, all this other stuff. You can create your own page and to show people and showcase who you are and what you do, right? Well, now they also have these cards that have a what are those? The card? What are those? The digital things. You know, with all the the barcode thing.
Scan code?
Yeah.
Scan.
So
whatever.
What are they called? I know what they are.
Scan.
So, anyways, that has one of those, and you can either just tap it on their phone, and it gives them all of your social medias, your phone number, your LinkedIn, your personal website. And I was like, dude, what? These people don't need that much fucking information about you. What happened to the days of going in and either you get a job because, hey, Bobby, let's go out to have drinks tonight. And all of a sudden, hey, Mingo, this is my buddy Mingo. Hey, you know what? Mingo kind of does this kind of stuff, blah, blah, blah. Sit there for a couple minutes. You go grab a drink. I'm sitting there shooting the shit with whoever. Next thing you know, I'm working with you at the firm. Right? Like, well, obviously not, at fucking the car wash place or the car rental place. But it's like, what happened to those days? There's nothing that basic human instinct, that camaraderie, that coming together is so different, and it's become so information based that people can create this whole persona of who they perceive themselves to be and sell it online or through their Instagram or through their.
And don't you think that
it's scary.
Because they're getting so much information about you before they even get to know you, they get a predetermined position on you.
Yeah, but not everything. It's the internet. Not everything is true, right? So I could go on and I could take my LinkedIn and create this big falsehood about who I am and the things that I've done and how I've created this and how I've done that and and embellish and write it in a way that makes it so grandiose but believable that that's what people's expectations are, when that might not be your true ability. That might not be what you can do. So it's selling, learning how to sell your narrative, as opposed to like, because there's this coach online that tells you about what to do on LinkedIn. And she says that LinkedIn has a certain algorithm that recruiters use. So it's kind of like when you go on Twitter or you go on Instagram and you're looking up hashtags. So at this or, blah, blah, blah. It's keywords. So like when you go on Google, I want to search this, and this. And it just starts throwing things at you, right? So it's the same way on LinkedIn. Instead of doing a, what do they call it? Kind of like a reference line or a subject line, right? You go on and you put in, or you use these keywords in that statement. So if recruiters are looking for, somebody that's analytical skills, somebody that's got management experience, somebody that's got this or somebody that's got that, you put that information in that tagline, and it will put that into the recruiter's pile of recruits or possible recruits for that position. So you'll get looked at, and more people will reach out to you just because you learned how to manipulate the algorithm. The same with these people that are influencers. They've figured out how to manipulate the algorithm to make themselves get pushed into a different trajectory and be able to get faster, more viral videos, what kind of things they should be doing, what people are looking at when they look at them, like what age group, all that kind of stuff. And they figure out how to reach that group and they stay focused on that. And that's how they become such big influencers. I've been taking a lot of classes, so I'm kind of...
I was going to say, man, for a 50-year-old, you know a lot about this stuff.
Well, you know, it's really... And I tried to explain this to somebody, and I don't know if I did it really well, but, you know, because I've talked about wanting to be a social media manager, right? So you go in and you look at the company and you say, okay, so, you know, you figure out, okay, so who's your target audience? What are you offering them? What do you want to do with that? How do you plan on getting there? Let's do this, let's do that, and build it out from there, right? So the problem is that I don't have the education that some of these kids have, that they've taken a class about all of this bullshit. But what you have to remember is that I was in radio when AIM first came out. I was in radio when the internet started. When that whole phenomenon, when it was before MySpace came out, and it was fucking chat rooms. Like, you had to be able to go into a chat room and figure that out. You had to be able to have people send you messages and respond while you're on the air or between songs. So now you're talking on a mic, you're talking on a phone, you're typing messages to somebody else, and to learn how to use that digital space that was never there before. We had to learn how to use that to our advantage without all of the skill and all the algorithm that they have now. So, do I know it? Yes. Do I know it per se the way they do now, like these kids now? I have a much better perception of what it is because of some of the classes that I've taken. But can I do what they do? Yeah. Can I get you where? Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I understand it. And I understand how to pinpoint that audience and get you what you need out of it. You know what I mean? So it's interesting. And I like that kind of shit. Like, to be able to add numbers and to be able to figure out, okay, so if I do this, I can manipulate this number this way and do that this way. But that's what's made me successful in the things that I have done, like whether it be in management or even management with this company, is okay, so we know that we have to grow this amount of people and that we need to do this and we need to do that. The company's expectation is this. So let's use this to complement that, to, you know what I mean? And kind of put things in place and a perspective for the people that work for me to understand how that works and why it works. And they're more apt to want to learn it and do it than if you just told them, get this done. This is what your goal is, reach it. Tell them how, why, and what we're going to do to get there, and they'll ride with you. And they'll move the needle for you every fucking time. But if you just tell them, hey, you need to reach that goal right there. Even if you tell them we need to reach that goal and this is why. But if you don't tell them how and you can't explain it to them in a way that they understand, you're going to lose every time. Because they're not buying into it. You have to have them buy into it, to take ownership of it, to understand it, to want to move that needle.
Isn't that what a good salesman does? Without having to
some degree, yeah.
Without having to do all that middle stuff that you're expecting to be done, he or she could just sell them on reaching that goal.
Sell, manipulate, whatever word you want to use, it's all the same shit. You know what I mean? But if you sell them, you have to sell them a real goods. You have to be able to quantify what you're selling to them, not just selling them something because you want to sell it to them. Does that make sense? You have to be able to give them the reason why you're selling them that. You know what I mean? And that's where a lot of people miss, because they don't know how to sell. I'm always saying, hey, look, I'm going to teach you. I don't know what you know. I don't know what you don't know, but I'm going to teach you like you've never done this before. I said, because it works for me. If you know it, okay, yeah, I've done that before. I did it like this. Okay, good. Then we can move forward from there because you understand the basics. If you don't, you need to know that before we move forward. That make sense?
Yeah, but it's also that you just have to believe in the product, the process, or whatever it is that you want to get, whatever it is you're trying to sell.
Correct.
You just have to believe in it. And if you're a salesperson, in you, naturally, you can sell that to them.
But the process isn't always as easy to understand as we think it is. Because sometimes if you're a natural salesman, you can say, okay, yeah, I can sell that, I can do this.
Right.
But if you're not, you have to know how to do it. And not everybody sells the same way, so you have to find that key for yourself. And the whole idea is, by teaching people from the basics, is that you teach them how to understand your thought process as to why you're going to get and how you're going to get to where you want to be. Does that make sense? Because if you leave it to their own accord, then you have, a bunch of people trying to reach the same goal a different way, which doesn't always work. You want to have people on the same page doing it the same way, so there's a commonality. So if you're not there and they hear somebody say something, oh hey, well let's somebody can jump in and say blah 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 blah. Or if it's not working for you, pass it to the other person. Because we're all selling it the same way, but maybe the way they pitch it is just a little bit different than the way you do, and the person that they're selling it to will take to that person better. Because people don't buy product, they buy personality, they buy experience.
Right. So, but you almost just contradicted yourself by saying, if everyone's selling it the same way, but somebody's selling it different.
Well, because everybody's personality is different.
Right.
I never, when I say selling it the same way, I mean selling it as to, hey, we do this, this is what we do, this is how we do it. But even if you and I sold shit the same way, like when you would do a car, right, at the rental place, hey, you want to get the insurance because that covers you while you blah blah blah. We're gonna say the same things, but my pitch and my tone is gonna be,
we're gonna sell the same thing,
right?
But you might just sell it in a different way. You might present it.
My personality is different than yours.
Yeah.
So I'm going to sell mine with mine, and you're going to sell yours with yours, even though we're selling it the same way. Just our personalities are different, and people buy experience. So if that person likes my personality better and fits them better, they're going to want to buy from me. And the same with you, if they like you better, they're going to buy from you. But if it's a common goal, you can't. That keeps them from being like, well, fuck no, that was my sale. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because we're all reaching for that same goal, whether we get there individually or we all get there together. The whole idea is, and we want to get there together, but you can't be afraid to pass the ball.
You guys don't work on commissions, do you?
We get some commission at the end of the month. Yeah. If we reach our goal, but it's a store goal.
Okay, yeah.
So it's not each individual person. They used to have it that way, and oh my god.
Yeah. Because at the rental car place, that's how it was.
She took my $2 incentive and blah. Look, here's $2.
Hey, $2. I mean,
it adds up, right?
Yeah, ant in an anthill. It's like every grain of sand.
Yep. No, I mean I get it at all. I used to hate those conversations. That was the worst. Awful, awful, awful. Speaking of awful, so this whole shit with my washer and dryer, right?
Oh, it got fixed? You got one for sale now?
No. So I called them and said, hey, I'm not off on Monday. Can somebody come out Thursday? Yes. Someone will be there between 11 and 3. All right, cool. 11 o'clock, the dude was here.
Nice.
So I go out, I open the door, I say, hey, well, let me open the garage. That's where it's at. Blah, blah. All right, cool. So they come in the garage, and I went out, I walked past them, I grabbed the thing for the AC. I turned the AC on in the garage, right? And I came back and I started closing the door to the garage. And the dude that was going to work on the washer looked at me, hey, dude, can you leave it open? I said, oh, well, I just turned the AC on. Would you like to work at the AC, or do you want me to go ahead and open the door because I'm not going to leave them both on? I can either turn off the AC or you can work in the heat, or I can go ahead and lower the door and turn the AC on. Oh, no, go ahead and put the AC. All right.
Bro, why you say it like that?
Because, hey, well, can you leave it open?
Well, because he didn't know.
How could you not? The other guy that was with you watched me fucking turn it on.
You just said it. The other guy that was with you saw me turn it on.
Dude, you know how these fucking AC, they go clunk. It's not like it's fucking Silent McGee. So anyways, this guy, I said, well, it's on here in the garage because I have a spare one in the washroom right now. Well, where am I supposed to connect it? In the plug in the wall right there behind you? Like, he's just talking like fucking circuit like a dick, right? And so I was like, yeah, you can just plug it into the wall socket right there. Right there. Or the one next to it. Or any of the ones on that bar right there. Those will all work. Oh, okay. So then he plugs it in and he's trying to move the thing around, and it's heavy because it's shut off mid-wash. It's heavy. It had some towels in it, right? She said, wow, that's heavy. I said, yeah, I was doing towels, and it just shut off. So that's why the lid's locked. Oh, all right. So he pulls off the back, and he just does a quick test. Yeah, the motherboard's burnt on it. So you probably overloaded it. I said, well, it's about the same amount of towels I've always put in it. I've had that machine for almost 5 years. It never blew the motherboard before. He said, yeah, well, these only take like 12 pounds. So you do like maybe 5-6 towels. Huh. So while he's sitting there, I look it up on Google. How many towels does a top loader washer take? And I said, huh. I said, this says that the front loaders can only take 12 pounds. But that one there that you're working on can take up to 14 towels. I said, there's nowhere near 14 towels in there. Oh, come on. It's super heavy. I could barely move it. I said, well, you're not a big guy. I mean, now I'm just being like the dude's just being a fucking, now I'm just being a douche now, right? So he said, well, I don't know. I'm going to have to break the lid to get it open. And so as long as you're prepared to pay for it. He said, well, let me see what I can do. So then he pops off the whole piece, not just the lid, but the whole top part of the washer, right? Which I knew he could do. He was just being a fucking douche. So, and then he looks at it and he said, look at that right there. I said, yeah, they're towels. And they're heavy because it's shut off mid-cycle. He said, yeah, there's way too many in there. I said, well, this thing says it could take up to 14, bro. And so he counted them out. There's 10 in there. I said, yeah, I still had 4 to go. I said,
10 towels is a lot, kid.
It was. That shit was fucking heavy. But the dude was just being a fucking dick, dude. Like,
okay.
Like
I'll wait.
It'd just be like, hey, you know what? Well, let's take a look at it and see what's going on. Hey, you may have overloaded it. I don't know. Maybe just after 5 years, that many towels may have been too much. I don't know. But the motherboard's blown.
Right.
Left it at that. Right. That's different than, oh well, you overloaded it. Well, that's the same amount of towels that I've been washing since I've got the thing. Oh, that thing was fucking heavy. Well, yeah, you're a scrawny piece of shit. What do you want? You know what I mean? Because at this point, I'm fucking irritated, right? So he gives me the thing, well, I'm going to have to turn it in, and they'll give you a call and see what they're going to want to do, but I doubt they're going to want to cover it. All right, I'll take care of it. So now, this week when I'm off on Thursday, I have to call and talk, hey, so... And the guy's name was Yan. Like Yan Can Cook. Remember that guy?
Yeah. Can cook.
I almost said that to him when he was, hey, like Yan Can Cook, are you related? But I thought I was pushing my luck, so I didn't. But now I got to argue. I got to call and argue that point and see what the fuck they do.
So you didn't remove the towels or anything before?
I couldn't. The lid was locked.
My lid doesn't lock on my washer.
Would your locker like from 1952?
1990.
Every washer, the lid locks. What are you talking about?
Mine don't lock.
Mine does.
I can open it.
Well, mine did when it had power.
I can open it when it's in mid-wash. As soon as I open it, it stops.
Yeah,
but I can open it.
But these don't because it doesn't have the agitator in the middle.
Oh, it doesn't?
No, mine didn't have the agitator. So it was a high speed. I don't even know what the fuck they called it, but it spun faster than a normal one. So I don't know if they're gonna fucking want to fix it or I'm gonna have to fucking fight.
10 towels.
Yeah.
Well, how you the three of you use 10 towels?
Well, then there was a couple out here from the pool. Like, why are you so judgmental?
Why are you trying to wash 10 towels at the same time?
Because
That's
can.
too much. No, you can't. That's too much.
Obviously, I can't because the fucking thing broke. Piece of shit. I turned around and washed them in the other one just fine.
And here's where you went wrong. When he got here, you show him the washer and you walk away. You don't stand there and argue with him. You don't stand there and if the dude wants the garage door open, then turn off your AC. There you go, man. I was trying to make it cool for you, but you're right. My bad. Boom. Knock on the door when you're ready, when you're done. And walk away. But you want to sit there and be combative with the guy.
I wasn't trying to be combative. I said, hey, dude, like, I'm trying to be cool. And now you walking in my shit like you had a bad fucking night. Miss Yan got mad at you. It ain't my motherfucking fault. You here to fix a motherfucking washer. I'm trying to turn the AC on for you so that it's cool in there. Motherfucker.
No. See, that's where you're all wrong. They're not trying to...
Yeah, I was probably in an argumentative mood that day. I was already irritated about that whole bullshit, you know what I mean? About the whole washer and all that bullshit.
So let me ask you this. That washer, does it have a computer system? Like, is it digital?
Oh, yeah, it's all digital.
Yeah. See, that's another way you went wrong.
Why?
You need the dial, son. Left, spin the dial to wherever, pull it out, and just let it go.
Is that what you got?
Yes.
The old school 1973 washer?
You got it, kid. And you know what?
Is it avocado green?
No. But it's still going strong. That's what I don't understand.
Well, that's why I was like, well, fuck it, I'll just get another set because they only last like fucking 5 years.
And when you said you were looking online last week, and you were looking online and you saw a decent set for like $1,500, and I was thinking to myself, are you crazy? For a washer and dryer?
That's cheap, bro.
Dog. $1,000 including tax and delivery is my limit. Because you know why? I'm looking for the one with the dial, the little push button start, and walk away. I know dudes that got them where you could do stuff on your phone with it.
Oh, yeah, the Wi-Fi?
Yeah, come on. For what?
Well, sometimes you need to sanitize your clothes.
No. When you're ready to do laundry, you pull your basket out.
Sometimes you need a bulky bedding setting.
Dog, you put it in, you spin the dial, you push the button, and you walk away.
Who does laundry in your house?
Most of the time it's my wife.
We need to get her on the phone.
90% of the time it's her.
We need to get her on the phone. Be like, would you like a new...
She tell you straight up no. Straight up. Because they say the top loaders are horrible. No, the front loaders.
The front loaders are, yeah.
Yeah.
They stink.
So, yep. Everybody says that. Don't get those. And the ones digital and all the computers, why? They're going to break down. They cost too much money. Why put that kind of money in a washer and dryer where you could put half of that into a washer and dryer and the rest somewhere else?
Well, here's part of the problem. Because the set that I was looking at, that I had thought that I had purchased and was going to have delivered,
right,
was a simple unit like that. It wasn't electronic.
$1,500?
Yeah.
No.
And
gotta get simpler.
And it had the agitator and all that bullshit in it. All right, cool, we're good. So, but the only problem is that now you put the agitator in there and it takes up a lot of space. I'm gonna be able to wash like one pair of pants.
Hold on. Pump the brakes.
What?
Do you wash clothes for the three of you?
No, I just wash my own clothes.
Okay, boom.
Dog, my clothes are big, dog.
Okay, but you still only wearing X amount of clothes in a week. How often do you wash?
Once a week.
Okay. My wife washes our clothes once a week for the two of us. We ain't got no problems.
Yeah, but you're not my size. My
But
pair of pants is like two of your jeans.
Okay, my jeans and my wife's jeans. Same difference. Okay, and split it up into 2 loads for that color. Come on, homie.
You split your shit up into colors? All my shit goes in at once.
Not all. Come on.
Everything.
There's 4 loads, kid. There's blacks or darks.
Okay.
There's colors. There's whites, and then there's towels.
There's 1 loads. Hurry up, get in there, get clean.
You don't wash your whites with your dark.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No wonder your shit be breaking down. You trying to shove everything in there.
Why not? It's only 1 week's worth of laundry.
In 1 load?
Yeah.
No wonder your shit only lasts 3 to 5 years.
Nah, man, you never had no problem before. This shit lasted for 5 years. It was good, almost 6 years.
Dog, I'm rocking 20-year-old washer and dryer. Of course, I fixed it from time to time.
Well,
but
there you go. You still had to fix it. It's not
the
like
last time, one of the last times one of them broke down, I went and looked and like, okay, if I can't get it fixed, I'm buying this set for like $800 plus tax. Brand new.
What brand are you buying?
I don't remember what it was.
Roper?
I don't remember what it was. Maytag?
You ain't buying no Maytag for no $800 for washer and dryer.
Dog, I'm telling you, it's not computerized. It's the dials. That's where you're going wrong. Well, no. You're going wrong by trying to shove everything in there in one shot. 4 loads, kid.
Fuck that. I ain't got 4 load kind of
How
time.
often do you wash your sheets?
Once a month?
Do you? Have you always been that way?
Yeah. You no. Oh, well, that's right. You told me before you.
Yeah, when I was single, I never washed them. Never even thought about washing them.
Really?
Yeah.
How often would you go before washing them?
I'll be honest with you. I don't know if I've ever washed them.
Really?
Yeah, straight up. I don't know.
Then your old lady came and said, "Oh no, we got to."
Yeah.
Mm.
I probably did wash them when the pillows started to get a little too raunchy because of my slobber.
Yeah.
So
You slobber a lot when you sleep, huh?
oh, forget about it. It's like a drip.
Ugh. Like one of them fucking.
It's like my cheek is a bucket that's overfilling.
Ugh. Like one of them fucking Saint Bernards and shit, right? Fuck, bro.
I looked at my pillow since the last time we spoke.
Yeah.
Because we talked about this. And you know what it looked like? It kind of looks like somebody spilled like Pepsi or something on it. You know how it's kind of brownish?
Yeah.
And it's like marbleized.
Oh, fuck. Now, see, mine were dirty. Didn't look anything like that, but mine, like you could tell that they had been slept on. I put them in the washer and did the sanitizer. They come out looking brand new, bro.
Well, so do ours.
You're not going to tell me. You're not going to sit here unless she uses all kinds of bleach. There is no way that your fucking granite fucking pillows are coming out.
Of course, we have light sheets, like off-white.
Right?
And yes, with that, you put a little bit of bleach in there.
On off-white?
Yeah.
Really? Or when you say off-white, do you mean like just barely not white, or are you talking like eggshell?
Probably eggshell.
You don't put no bleach on eggshell
Why not?
because it come out spotted.
No.
Yeah,
No.
man. All right, look, MingosMadhouse@yahoo.com or what is it? Madhouse Sideshow on Instagram.
What is that special bleach that don't bleach
the
anything out?
colored bleach?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, we don't bleach darks or colors, but you bleach your whites.
And you always do the whites last, right?
No, it don't matter. Why would we do the whites
Well,
last?
that way you don't none of the residual bleach goes onto your.
Nah. We got the proper washing machines, back to old school ones where they did it right, where they were built to last.
Surprised you don't have one of the ones that sit outside where you got to do it on the board and then put it through that machine to wring them out. Don't let them treat you like that, Miss Pacheco.
I'll tell you what, I had a conversation with my mom this weekend. Okay, we were talking about. I don't remember how it got brought up back in the day. She was saying when we lived in New York that the thing to do was to hang out outside with your friends and talk.
Right.
On the stoop or whatever. And she told me that the wives, because this is when she was married to my dad, the wives would hang out on the stoop. And
227.
Yeah. And the husbands would go to the corner, hang out, or whatever.
Right.
So she was like saying, she said, but me, and she said this other woman, she goes, we weren't allowed. So what would happen is the other woman lived near her apartment was near the stoop. So she could hear the wives talking outside. And she would call me and tell me like the neighborhood gossip, what they were talking about.
Wow.
So I was like, well, what do you mean you weren't allowed to go out? Wasn't allowed? She goes, yeah, me and her, we weren't allowed to go. I said, what do you mean you weren't allowed? I knew what she was saying, but I just wanted her to say it.
Right.
And she goes, why? Your dad didn't let me. I said, he told you weren't allowed to go hang out with your friends outside? And she was like, yeah. I said, and you listened? And she was like, well, yeah, that's how it was. I said, so would you do that today? If you, knowing what you know today, would you let that happen again? She's like, oh, absolutely not. And I was like, man, I can't believe it. How much pull he had back in the day.
Right.
And she told me that she would try to put on makeup for work. Just a little bit of makeup. And he'd tell her, what are you doing? She's like, I'm putting on makeup. For what? She's like, because I'm going to work. So why are you putting on makeup? You don't need to put on makeup. If I'm not going to be there, you don't need to wear makeup.
There you go.
I was like, man. One time she said that she was wearing shorts in the house, in the apartment. And she said they weren't even short shorts. They were like to the knees. What do they call those?
Culottes.
It starts with a C. Cardigan, maybe. I don't know. But long shorts.
Okay.
My pops was like, what are those? And she was like, shorts. It's hot. He's like, you can't wear that. You're a married woman. And she was like, it's just shorts. And I'm like, man. And this at this particular story she was telling me, we lived in a 3-story apartment building.
Right.
And my uncle lived in the middle floor. My mom and dad lived on the top floor. My uncle lived on the bottom floor, middle floor. And my great-grandmother, her grandmother, lived on the bottom floor, the first floor.
Holy shit.
So she went downstairs to go vent to my grandmother or her grandmother. And as soon as she walked into the apartment, before she was even said anything, my grandmother said, what are you wearing? She's like, I'm wearing shorts. You can't wear that. You're a married woman. And she was like, I cannot believe this. Man.
Those were the good old days.
I wouldn't say that. No, I'm not saying that at all.
You're such a chump.
But dude, could you imagine? That back then, she was telling me no, nothing low cut in the front. If it even got to the middle of her chest, like where a cross would be, she'd have to put a safety pin on it. Craziness.
Could you imagine all these women in today's world back then? How much violence there would be if they got taken back and dropped off in that era and had to survive? It would be fucking. There'd be a lot of crazy shit going on. You know what I mean? Like that's fucking.
Yeah.
That's wild, dude.
Yeah, but
it makes sense.
Like, I'm not saying that, for example, my wife and I, we don't have those crazy situations like that.
Right.
But what we do have, and I can't name any off the top of my head right now, not because I don't want to, I just don't think about it. But I bet my kids think, oh, that's crazy. That's nuts.
Yeah, probably.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I can't think of any either, but yeah.
Like, I'm thinking about my parents, I'm like, that's crazy. And my kids are probably thinking the same thing. Oh, that's crazy. You guys are crazy.
Yeah, I'm trying to think back. I don't think there was ever anything that was that crazy in our lives either that a lot of people were really weirded out that my ex didn't work. Like when we found out Sebastian we'd sat down and we looked at the budget and looked at the money, and she was like, it's going to cost me more money to go to work than if I stay home and take care of him. By the time we pay, child care and do all that shit, my lunch, my clothes, gas, and blah, blah.
Without being mean, I'm not accusing, I'm not pointing fingers, it's just a question. Looking back at it now, with fresh eyes, do you think she was selling you on that because she didn't want to work?
Yes.
You answered that too quick. Or I was going to say, or do you think it was legitimate? All right, we're a team. Really, it doesn't make sense for me to go to work. As a team.
I think that it worked out to her benefit that was the case. That it wasn't financially.
Well, I can understand it not working out. I can understand it benefiting her because she didn't have to work. But again, going into it, was it, I don't want to work, so I'm just going to say this. And it really does pan out that way, but her intention was not, it's better for the team, but was the intention, I don't want to work, so I'm just going to do this.
Well, I think so, and I'll tell you why. Because I was home by 2 o'clock, so she could have gotten even a part-time job, 2 to 6, 2 to 8, 2-3 days a week. I was home. I would have taken care of the kids. It would have been no cost with that.
At the time, let me ask you this. At the time, what your thought on it now? Did you have that same thought?
No, at the time I thought, I'm the fucking man. Like, cool, I could provide for my family. She could stay home, take care of our children. She can give them, be there to, raise them and rear them the way we want to. Which, looking at Sebastian now, maybe that was not a great idea. I don't know. But I'm just saying, proof is in the pudding, right? But I just think that at the time where I was mentally, I thought, hey, you know what? Cool. And knowing her parents and them being religious and having, that solid Christian background, I really kind of bought into that. It worked out. I'm not going to sit here and talk bad about her or anything like that. It worked out the way it was supposed to. Could she have worked? Yeah. Does it matter at this point? No. It's,
Well, my wife, at one point, there was talk about my wife not working.
Okay.
But, again, we looked at the paper. We looked at it on paper. Not literally, but we said, okay, we could do it, yes. We can make it, yes.
But that's all we're going to do.
But just so you know, you not working not only takes away that income, but it takes the insurance was on her because I'm self-employed.
Right.
So now we got to pay for insurance. So you do know your nails ain't getting done. Your hair ain't getting done. And we're got set limits on things. And I don't have a problem with that because I'm not the one that gets his hair done every week or every month or whatever.
Right.
So she was like, yeah, I'll work.
Hey, that's dope though, because but that's the honesty you need when you're going through and you're sitting down and having those kind of conversations, because it really is like a what do they call it, bringing to Jesus or whatever it is that they call it.
Come to Jesus moment?
Yeah, coming to Jesus moment. You know what I mean? Like, okay, well, yeah, we can do it, but all that shit you like gonna go away.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. All that shit we like is going away because we're
right.
Because we're choosing this over that. Again, that's what I meant by. Did your ex-wife? Was it a team decision? Was it based on what was good for the team? Again, we could have gone either way. this was good for the team, you stay home, no problem. Or,
What I will say is that it was good for the team until the last year. Because she had gotten her 4-year degree from Cal State Bakersfield. We moved to Phoenix. She didn't want to work. Milo was already going to school because as long as they're, until they go to school, I'm not going to work. Okay, well, Milo's going to school, so you need me to get you some applications? What's going on? She didn't want to work. So I got her job. I got an interview. Also, it really wasn't an interview. He just had to go meet the guy. And it was done. But she didn't want to do it. She was mad at me that she went to work. She had to go to work.
Shit, I lost my train of thought. Were you guys on the same page as far as discipline? As far as the goal the family wanted to get to?
I think for the most part, yeah. I was probably a little more stern than she was.
Of course, yeah.
But for the most part, yeah, we were pretty much on the same page.
And obviously, since you were the breadwinner, there wasn't one of those, because I don't get it. I don't know if we spoke about this before. Couples that your money's your money, my money's my money. I'll give you half of the mortgage, or you take care of these bills and I'll take care of these bills.
Right.
That I don't get. I don't understand it.
Okay.
For the life of me. Did we ever speak about that before?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
So you guys just put it all in one and you figure out all the money from there?
Right. Because how do you... if we've already spoken about it, we've already spoken about it, but...
Well, because I think there's a lot of people that do it, and I think it works for a lot of people, where it's, okay, I'll pay the mortgage, you pay all the house bills, and you pay the food. Yeah, and one take of gas for me a month.
And then, but is there ever I pay the food, but this week we're having people over, so how can I pay all that?
Yes.
Well, guess what?
Yes, I think there is I'll pay for the food for the party this weekend, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I think definitely shit like that.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Outside of the normal, whatever it takes to run the household, there has to be, okay, well, I'll take care of this part of it, you take care of that, and I'll do this, and you take care of that.
Let me ask you this. What's your opinion on having kids out of wedlock, but still naming the kid after the father?
What's the problem with that?
Why does it have to be named after the father if the parents are not married?
Because it's still the father. All the juice came out of the same sack.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Would you have a problem if they weren't together? Well, no, they're together. Or not together. But the mother on the birth certificate put her last name for the kid.
Yes.
Yes, what?
Yes, I'd have a problem with that.
Okay. Why?
Because he's still the dad. And you're going to expect him to help pay for it, right? You're still going to want him to be and act and do all the things a father would do, right? So why wouldn't you?
What does that have to do with it?
Well, why wouldn't you give him the last name?
Because we ain't married.
Right, but so then why would I give you money?
Because it's your kid. That has nothing to do with it.
Exactly. Just like us being married has nothing to do with it.
Okay, but here's the thing.
Still give him the respect of being the father.
No, that's the tradition. That's the tradition.
No.
Yes. How's that no? What generally happens, what created this tradition is the woman marries the man. She takes his name. Thus, the child has the parent's name, last name.
Correct.
Okay. Nowadays, things aren't done that way per se.
You know why? I'll tell you why. Because women want all their children to have the same last name. I said it. Like it or don't. I
Okay,
said it.
but then you're proving my theory correct or my stance.
What's that?
If they took her last name, they would all have the same last name, even if they had multiple daddies.
Right?
So you agree with me?
No, I'm just saying that what you said is right.
Oh,
Not that it's okay. I'm just saying, the mama just don't want to look like a hoe. I mean,
but again, you creating this child, regardless of the name, is still your kid. You still got to pay for it
well, then why shouldn't I have my name on it?
because
That's like
because
Ford,
you're choosing not to marry
Ford.
me.
That's like Ford selling a car and not putting the Ford badge on it because they're selling it at Mazda. You see what I'm saying?
No,
So
bad.
yeah, Mazda has Ford engines in their cars,
Okay.
right? So it's basically a Ford. It's on a Ford platform, right? So by Mazda selling it under their name and using all their information, that's the woman calling it themselves as opposed to Ford being the dad, it being a Ford. Does that make sense? It's the same thing.
It does, but you're agreeing with me.
I'm not agreeing with you.
You're saying
not
Mazda.
saying
Hold
that's
on
the
one
way it
second.
should be.
But Mazda has a Ford engine in it, but
Correct.
it's called a Mazda.
Correct.
Okay. The woman has the man's child in her, but she's still going to name her name, which is Mazda. In your scenario,
Right, but that I don't think that. But why not give the man his due respect and put the child, give him the.
okay.
The
So
dad's last
hyphenate the name.
What was that?
Hyphenate it.
Why would you hyphenate it?
Because again, they're not together. Why does the woman not to have her kid with her last name?
Because she gets a check every month with her name on it for the kids. Shut up.
Oh, that's okay. But you're saying if they're not together.
Well, that's what you've been saying this whole
No,
time.
I said they're not married.
Even then, if they're not married, it's still the dude's kid.
And it's
Why
still her
shouldn't
kid.
So okay, so what you're saying is they're together, but they're not married.
Okay. Yes.
They have sex and they have a baby.
Yes.
And just because she's carrying the baby,
No, not just because, but go ahead.
she doesn't have to put his last name on the child for the child. But yet she still has the expectation of him doing everything that a father should do.
Just as he has the expectation that she does everything a mother should do. So that cancels itself out.
No, it doesn't, because he should have that kid's name. That kid should have his father's name on it as well, because it's just as much his child as it is hers.
Okay, so you're saying hyphenated.
No.
Why not?
Why do we have to change tradition? Why do you have to change tradition?
Because
if that's
you're
what
not
you wanna
married.
call
You've
it?
already changed tradition. Tradition
So-
is
but
you
what
get
is that?
married and you have kids.
But what does that matter? He's still the father.
And she's still the mother.
Right. And it's always been that the father's name goes with the child.
No. It's always been their name.
It's always
their
because,
name.
Because if they were ever to go to court, they would say, who's the father? Because if that was me,
Hold on a second.
hold on. Because if that was me, and she wanted to put my name on the birth certificate, then he gets my last name. If you're not going to put my last name on it, then don't put my fucking name on the birth certificate.
This ain't macho. Stop. That's just a macho attitude.
Well, fuck it. It is what it is. I deserve to have that.
Deserve?
Hell yeah.
No. I'm going to say no.
How not?
Because again, tradition.
Right.
The
just
reason
like
why
tradition
you hold on
would
a second.
be that I pay
you
for
have
the
your
child,
tradition.
I do all of this.
Then
I do all
you're
that.
saying if you're not together. I'm saying
Even
you're
if
together.
We are together.
So, okay,
But
she's
even then,
paying as much
you're
as
gonna
him.
want me to? Oh, I gotta pay half of this. I gotta pay half of that.
No. I'm not half. We're together.
Right.
We're raising this person
but
together.
we're responsible for that child.
That's right.
Halfly, because it's half hers
Yes.
and half mine.
Okay, so
even then,
the child's last name is half yours and half mine.
No. You bared the child.
Because my last name is not your last name.
Correct.
Our child will have both our names. Now,
No. That's not the way it works. the child gets the father's last name. It's the way it is. It's the way it's always been. It's the way it always should be.
No.
Now, if you're not going to be involved with that father, and you don't want the kid to know who his father is or have any, then do what you want.
And don't get me wrong. I get the macho attitude about it. But again, you're saying tradition. It's always been this way.
So
you're
telling me
all I'm saying is this: the reason for that tradition is because the woman
want all of her babies to have the same last name.
No, it's because the woman takes on the husband's name.
So what you're saying
Lopez,
is the only or. So what you're saying is the only time a woman should have to put the dude's last name on her baby is if they're married? Because that should be her last name too.
She's putting the family name on the baby.
Right, but they're still a family. Whether they're married or
Correct.
just together
Yes.
or...
The family name goes to the baby. That's what I'm saying.
Which is his last name.
No.
Yes, because when they get married... because when they get married, she takes his last name.
When they get married, she could change the last name. Just like she would have to do it for herself.
No, you're ridiculous. That the baby should have the father's last name. You're finding these little nuances that absolutely.
It's not a nuance.
Sure it is. It makes absolutely no sense.
Hold on a second. What I'm saying is, in this household, there are two last names.
Correct.
Okay. Lopez.
Why you gotta use my last name?
There are two last names in this household.
Right.
Why can't the child have both names?
Because he should have his father's name. Now here, if they put the mother's last name as the middle name, the way it's always been, like my middle name is my mother's maiden name. And that's the way she could do that. So let's say it's Tony or Anthony. Let's say her last name, your mom's last name was Johnson. So you're Anthony Johnson Pacheco. But the family last name, regardless of whether they're married or not, is the man's last name. Bam!
No, I'm just sitting here thinking... I just explained to you
how is that not the family last name?
Because there are two last names in the family.
No.
In this household, there are two last names.
Right.
The family
But the child doesn't have two last names. It has one. And it's his father's last name.
It's called hyphenation.
Because that is the family last name. That is the familial last name. It's always been that way.
But times are changing, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but
that's why they don't get married anymore.
Yeah, but it doesn't always mean that times are changing the right way. Because there's a lot of shit that has changed that's not right. And by doing that and saying that that's okay, you're ripping one more pillar out of the sanctity of marriage and familial life the way it should be.
So what happens?
And you're adding to that crumbling.
What happens when the mother gives birth? Who fills out the birth certificate? Who are they asking the questions to? The hospital.
To both, because both parents are usually there.
Okay, well, let's say only the mother's there for whatever reason.
Well, then they're going to ask her questions.
Okay, so what if she says, okay, I want the baby to have my last name. Okay, and then the dude shows up, the father.
Yeah.
And he says, hey, love, hey, baby, what's going on? I'm sorry I'm late, da-da-da. Oh, let me see. And the nurse says, okay, well, this is your child's name. Boo, boo, boo. Wait, that's not my last name. Hold on. Let me finish. What? And so the woman looks at him and says, once we get married, the child could take our last name.
The problem is that they should have had that conversation before they got there. Now, I understand there's probably going to be certain situations where they're not going to be able to. But the father, if she put his name down on the birth certificate, I understand. I believe the father has to sign it as well. No, maybe not.
I
I
doubt
mean,
that.
the mom gets to put what she wants.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Is she right by doing that? No, absolutely not. Because without the father,
And without the mother,
hold on, relax, take a deep breath, fucking put your vagina back in your pocket, relax for a second. Without the father, if that's the father of that child, right? Without that
Yes.
father,
Yes.
they wouldn't have had that child together. So
yes.
by taking away his last name,
she's not
because
taking it away.
yes, it is, because she's saying I'm not going to put his name until we get married. So now she's holding that child hostage and using him as a fucking pawn to get married, and that's wrong.
Why are you all pissed off and point your finger at me?
Because I mean, because shit like that happens. And it's such a difficult terrain to navigate. Like if you were in the hospital, dude. Like let's say your old lady was back in the hospital giving birth to your daughter, and you were late cleaning a fucking pool. A line had fucking ruptured. You had to fix the line. You got to the hospital. The baby was born. Your name's not on the birth certificate.
Okay.
How are you going to react? Be like, cool, have fun raising her.
I level.
But just give me honesty, dude. Don't just stop trying to think of the answer. And just give me honesty.
I get it. I understand the tradition. I totally get it.
I'm not.
I'm just saying.
Hold on, Tony. Wait. I really want. Don't think about what your answer is going to be. Give me your true. You just walked in. You just found out your name's on the birth certificate. What's your response? You're honest. Give me a true, honest answer. How old were you when your daughter was born?
27, I think. 27, 28.
You're 27 years old. Your wife's having your first child.
Okay, well, there lies my wife is having my first child. Of course, she's going to put the family last name on the birth certificate.
Tony.
Because my wife's last name is my last name.
Tony. Give me a real answer. We talked about a scenario. I want a real.
Okay, your scenario doesn't work because my wife's she would put my daughter's last name on the birth certificate, and my wife's last name is my last name, which is my whole point. My wife. Hold on a second. No, there's my answer. There's my answer for you. My wife put her last name as my daughter's last name.
All right.
Isn't that what your wife did?
I don't want to talk about what my wife. No, yeah.
Okay, so the woman put her last name on it,
and she was mad because her thing was like, well, if we have a boy, you can name him, and if we have a girl, I'm gonna name it. All right, cool. So she found out she having a boy. Cool. We're gonna name him fucking Candelario. I want a son named Trinidad because I want to call him Trini. Or no, we're not. Okay, well let's call it. I want an Agustin so I can call him Augie. Like all this Chicano shit. She was like, no. I'm like, okay, Sebastian. Oh yeah, I like that. So, okay. But fuck, dude. Yeah, no, I would lose my shit if that was me and I walked in and that was a situation. But I wasn't married when Sebastian was born yet either. No, because he was at the wedding. So that would, I would have lost my shit. What?
I'm just saying, now I'm not saying it's right, but I can see that scenario happening.
Yeah, I don't think it's. I don't think that's. Especially kind of the things that you talked about, like that's such a shit move to, oh well, as soon as you marry me, I'll change his name.
Well, don't look at it that way. Think of it more as, hey,
I'm gonna fuck you into marrying me, and then I'll change it.
Okay. Forget the first scenario. Let's just say she hyphenated it.
I'd still. What's with the fucking hyphen?
Well, that's my last name.
Yeah,
it's my kid too.
Then that should be his middle name.
No, we can put Lopez as the middle name.
No, my last name goes last. That's why it's called a last name. That's your maiden name. That's why it goes in the middle.
Oh, maiden name.
Well, her last name.
It's her last name.
Her last name would be her maiden name.
No,
right?
her maiden name is the name that she had prior to taking on your name.
At some point, that's going to be your maiden name. Whoever you decide to fucking marry. All right, I need to go. I need to have a fucking drink. You fucked me up today, Tony. It was good. That was a good conversation. I like that shit. That was really good. And I'm sorry, I did get a little heated.
You did, kid.
I was hot. I was like, wait a minute, hold up.
You pointed at me and shit.
I was like, fuck that. Holy shit. Because as soon as you said, as soon as you change, as soon as we get married, I'll change. Hold the fuck up. Shit. Doctor, you might want to leave for a minute. Shit. All right, Tony, any final words?
Yes. My nephew AJ had his kid. Congratulations, AJ.
Congratulations, AJ.
He's AJ. I'll be honest with you. I haven't gotten confirmation on how they're going to word his name because he's going to be Adam the Third. I guess that's it.
We're going to call him Trey.
A-Trey?
No, just Trey. Don't call him A-Trey.
But here's the kicker. His son was born on Thursday, the 25th.
Okay.
That's my daughter's birthday.
Oh, shit. Well, at least you'll never forget his birthday, right? She should be good.
So congratulations, AJ and Jasmine. My niece's baby daddy, David. You've met him.
Oh, yeah.
We call him Paparazzi.
Right.
His birthday is Sunday the 4th.
All right.
So happy birthday, David. He's gonna be he's gonna be 38.
Older.
Yeah, there you go. Robert's wife Desiree. Her birthday is Monday the 5th. Happy birthday, Des. Now, how should I say? Their wedding anniversary is also Monday the 5th. So, happy anniversary, Gutierrez's.
What, did he marry her as soon as she turned 18? Said, cool, come on, let's go get married. Happy birthday.
But, dude, they're going to be married 29 years.
Shit, that's dope, though. That's
They
smart.
beat me.
One gift.
Here we go. See what I'm saying? You had
What? You know Rob thinks about that shit. He go, hey, I got to go get your mama an anniversary birthday gift. And a birthday gift.
So, their anniversary is Monday. Again, 29 years, man. They got me beat.
Wow,
And
congratulations.
they're younger than me.
Wow.
Or us. I'm sorry. Us.
Yeah.
Because I forgot, you're old too.
Whoa. Hey. I'm a little sensitive about that shit right now.
Next Wednesday, the 7th.
Damn.
Just in case.
Just in case, I got you.
Raymond Magana, his daughter, Exandria, her first birthday. So she's the kid of the podcast. She was the one born. So happy birthday, Exandria.
Happy birthday.
That's it.
Starting September 1st begins my birthday month. If anybody gives a shit at all. I don't know what I expect. All right. Bye. We'll see you guys.